Hello guys, today I want to review the two upgrade hop-up units for the VFC ARs. In this one I have the GHK 2022 AR style hop-up unit, and in this one I have the aluminium maple leaf one. I think it's 2023. Both have been used for extensive amount of time. They both have enormous amount of shots. The GHK one has been used for much longer. The Maple Leaf one, I've been using it for about a year plus minus, but both of them I've had plenty of experiences with them. I've had to deal with a little bit of problem with them, but overall my experience is pretty satisfactory. The GHK one is made out of plastic. It comes in a small box with a tool, assuming that you buy the full kit. It comes with its own hop-up rubber. It's the small gray one. I've had to change it. I don't know if you can see, but I went back and still use the GHK gray rubber. It's been quite good. I mostly use this replica for CQB medium range engagements. It's been easy to assemble. There is few guides on the internet on how to assemble it. The unit kind of looks weird since it's more of a compression fit rather than the aluminium one from Maple Leaf. My biggest gripe with it is that it's very hard to center the hop-up rubber, and sometimes it's hard to center the inner barrel. Those were my main gripes, and after plenty of trial and error, plenty of fitment testing and all of that, I got it to center pretty well. But still, I would much rather have a tab that locks the hop-up rubber and locks the inner barrel much more tightly. I know Quad or 4UAD is coming out with their own precision hop-up unit for the VFC and GHK platforms, and that one has a much more precise centering mechanism. But for now, this is pretty serviceable. I have used it for thousands of rounds. I don't have the exact number on top of my head, but in the previous video where I talk about the Z Parts bolt carrier, I had the numbers back then, and I didn't play that much since then. I've been on a bit of a hiatus, playing here and there, but not as often anymore due to some injuries. But besides that, the BB count did not change that much, but it's pretty substantial amount. This still has been used in outdoor games. This has been used on slightly longer distances. I primarily use 0.4s. Playing with this one, I'm playing anywhere outdoors. And it was able to lift it, very satisfactory. The hop-up adjustment arm, the tool that it comes with, is pretty nifty, let's say. It has plastic cogs on it, so I can't really get a good purchase on it when I'm trying to adjust the hop-up strength, let's say. But besides that, it was hopping relatively okay. It's not the best hop-up unit, but this is at the time what was available. I still think it's pretty good, and I still think that it's worth buying since it's much cheaper than the Maple Leaf one. If I'm not mistaken, there's a 25 to 35 euro difference. I can't get the numbers on top of my head, but the Maple Leaf one was much more expensive. When it comes to the Maple Leaf one, the build finish on it is substantially better. The barrel is locked solid on it. There is not a video or any references on how to install it, but with a bit of brain work you can. But if anyone wants to see an assembly guide for both hop-up units, just let me know and I'll make a video about it. Yeah, the Maple Leaf one is much more solid. It's made out of full aluminum, and here's my gripe with it. Maple Leaf on their Facebook page recommend to use the diamond buckings, if I'm not mistaken, and they're pretty good, but they lack the little tab on the side that most hop-up rubbers have. And it's very strange that they recommended it, because when I used ones with the tab, I had to slightly cut this tiny part of it, and it worked wonders. It was perfectly fitting, almost perfectly straight. I had to do, of course, fitment. I had to do a bit of trial and error, make sure that it's perfectly centered. I can also make a video on how to guarantee centering the hop-up rubber, whether it's for pistols or any GBR. My main focus is just pistols and VFC replicas for the meantime. But at least I can show, maybe that helps someone. Just let me know and I can try to make a video about it, or maybe when I have time. But either way, it was very easy to center, it's very easy to deal with. I have been using it for quite some time. In here I have an old Maple Leaf hop-up rubber. This is the 60 degree. This is their old 2021 formula or 2022. I like them a lot and I bought a bunch, so I use them for my pistols, so I just put it in here for the meantime. In here I use the same BBs. I mostly use 0.4s. I tried a few times to use 0.43s in this one. It worked perfectly fine. In both setups worked perfectly fine. But the Maple Leaf one is much more sensitive to adjustments. Anytime that I would, increase a tiny increment, it would maybe overhop or underhop. But most of the time it was leaning to overhopping, even on 0.4s. It has immense power on it. Both of them adjust in the same way. The GHK one gives you the option to use the tool, and since most replicas are already blocked, since you have this type of rails, you cannot really access the bottom. The Maple Leaf one allows you to use to access also the bottom, and it uses the same exact tool to adjust the hop-up strength. But the Maple Leaf one does not come with that tool. I just use the same one that came with GHK, but also you can just get a very long Allen key and it should be pretty decent to use. Both gave very consistent FPS results. Both of them are extremely consistent. I usually have a couple of FPS variants, which is very negligible considering the size of the bolt carry and how much air it's pushing through. But overall very consistent, much better than the stock VFC. And here's where my thoughts come. I worked on multiple VFC replicas, and the hop-up units are mostly misses. We've had 2 of them break. One, the arm was inconsistent. One side was much thicker than the other side, because what they do is that they are not one piece. There are 2 pieces that are like welded together. So sometimes they have a bit of variance. Some of them are twisting. Some of them are a bit thicker. It's a complete mess. It's a big hit or miss when it comes to VFC hop-up units. The rubber that it comes with is satisfactory, but it requires a lot of break-in period. The first week it would work perfectly, and then it would be complete chaos for a while until it beds in, gets better with time. It's a bit of a joke considering that, yes, everything needs a break-in period, but when you manufacture a hop-up unit, I expect it to generally work rather than be a complete hit or miss. And since there are more misses, I'm just generally upgrading them quite quickly. One thing to also note, well, VFC makes, for the AR and the HK family, have two types of hop-up units. The ones that are the classic ones, such as the one in the M733, that cannot be adjusted by the gas router in the front. And on the other hand, sometimes in the HK family, they make ones that can be adjusted from the front. Both of these do not have front adjusting hop-up units. The HK1, you need to buy a custom barrel. This is a Z-part steel barrel inside here, and that's why I can fit the Maple Leaf unit in it. What else? The VFC hop-up unit is made out of cast aluminum. It's held on pretty much by faith. The screws on it strip immediately quick. I've noticed that on the front adjusting ones, that after number of rounds it loses tension because of the rod that goes through here, which is the gas router, twists on itself, and when it twists on itself, it binds and it doesn't give consistent pressure over the hop-up unit. So I would much rather have the solid ones that you need to disassemble it to adjust it, or just use a tool like the Maple Leaf or the GHK ones. Also, it's impossible to center. It took me so much time to get it centered. I did. It's definitely possible, but it requires so much trial and error to get it precisely down. It's a bit finicky with which hop-up rubbers it takes, so it prefers more of the softer ones, and those are pretty malleable, and if you're using a budget inner barrel, the fitment will not be great anyways, so you're battling two things at the same time. You must take care when changing the hop-up rubber of the inner barrel on the stock VFC units. Also, when it comes to installing even the stock ones on the guided ones, where you can change the hop-up from the front, you need to make sure that the gas router has a plastic arm that goes into the hop-up unit. You need to make sure that it's put in correctly, otherwise you may damage the gas router hop-up adjustment tool. I think it's a terrible design. Yeah, it's easy to use, but you should not be changing your hop-up setting mid-game. Yeah, it's a quality of life, but I always believe that before any game or before any event, take a bit of time, dial in your hop-up unit for the day, then go to play. Having a quick adjust system means just more points of failure, most likely less reliability, and it can cause issues that are caused by something that's not the hop-up unit, just makes troubleshooting much harder. That's why I like the GHK unit and the Maple Leaf one. If I had to recommend one, I would definitely go back with the Maple Leaf one. The GHK one is great. I have very little complaints besides that it's plastic. I felt like I'm gonna break it while trying to install it. On the VFC one, you just need to file down one side of it to fit the barrel, but besides that, it's super easy. It's like putting two Legos on top of each other. It's pretty easy, same as this one. This one is a drop-in fit, by the way. This one you just need to file in a small nub. GHK one is great. If you don't have access to the Maple Leaf one, sure, go with the GHK, pretty satisfactory. Just be careful with the tool that they provide. As I said, the cogs are plastic. They can bind on themselves or break, so be gentle with it. Both are very sensitive to adjustments. The Maple Leaf a bit more. Both lift extremely heavy BBs, so if you want to shoot lightweight BBs, I say like 0.28s, 0.25s, you need to take some time and dial them in. Both take your time adjusting these, honestly. Same with any VFC replica. They almost always overhop or always underhop. Just take your time with it. Make sure that it's running smoothly. That's it pretty much. I prefer the aluminium. The cost is slightly higher, but it's something that in the long run it's pretty acceptable. Both are quite available. Both shoot very consistently. The FPS was great. The shot-to-shot grouping was pretty satisfactory. For long range, it was pretty decent. This is my outdoor replica primarily. I use this for forest games, outdoor games, whatever. I can still use it for CQB. It's pretty great. The hopup unit was able to deal with any type of BBs that I used. Preferably go for something heavier that just leads for a better experience. And be patient with anything that you buy. Make sure that you do your research. If you have a stock HK unit, make sure to change the outer barrel into a whatever is compatible. I'm using a steel Z Parts one here. I'm very happy with it. Otherwise, any hop-up unit that you buy, it will not fit in. If you're using the stock outer barrel for the HK family, you must use the HK made hop-up units. The barrel has completely different cuts than the one that is in the more modern AR families. Besides that, you can't go wrong with either. But still, if you're short on money, you're still new to this, stick with the stock hop-up unit. I know that I said a lot of bad things about it, but make sure that you do your research. Make sure that you find what works for you, what doesn't, because sinking a lot of money into this hobby is something very easy to do. So take your time, do your research. If you have any questions, I would gladly answer them. Sometimes I like misreading the comments, but I'll try my best. And yeah, that's it pretty much. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you.